When using the tenon saw, we keep our wrist, our shoulder and also our elbow in one continuous line. This is to do with the control and accuracy over the tenon saw. If you don't keep this motion, the saw will have a tendency to go off your intended cutting line and produce an inaccurate cut. When using the tenon saw, accuracy and precision is everything. This is why we keep our wrist, our elbow and our shoulder in one continuous line and one continuous motion as shown in the video. When holding the tool, it is very important that we hold it correctly. We hold it in a position called the pistol grip, which provides control and accuracy over the use of the tool. It got its name from a pistol, as in the gun, because when people use guns, they have precision and accuracy when using it. They also have control over the full lot of the gun. Why do we use a boxing stance when sawing? Boxing stance would be a wider stance where you have your feet further apart. This allows you to have more control and balance over your body. This is very important when using the tenon saw. This stance can also be related to other sports, where control, balance and accuracy is also very important. For instance, free taker in soccer, golfer, free taker in hurling and also a tennis player. Having good control and balance over your body can be very important for the health and safety aspect in the woodwork classroom. With the balance and control over the tool, it reduces the risk of stumbling with the tool in your hand. This comes down to the center of gravity, where you're spreading your body weight over a large surface area with your legs spread apart, compared to having your feet closer together, having minimal control and balance. This allows for control over both the tool and the piece you're creating for a lot more precision and accuracy through your processing. How do we use this tool? When using the tenon saw, ensure we clamp the piece nice and tight up against the bench hook with our palm as shown. Ensure that it's nice and flush with the edge of the bench hook. Ensure when you're cutting that the blade is parallel to the bench. Ensure that you're using the pistol grip for good control and accuracy when sawing, as when you don't use it, you don't have the same control and accuracy over the tool. This is very important when using the tenon saw, because precision and accuracy is very important. Here you can see that I'm using the one continuous motion from the wrist, the shoulder and the elbow as previously talked about in the video. At the beginning we create 3 saw cuts at the tip point of our marking line. This is to create a groove in which we can begin our saw cut. This creates the curve, in which was also previously talked about in the previous video. This allows the saw to have a starting point in which we can begin to saw the rest of our trench. Using your thumb as a guide along the piece of material with your marking line can ensure good precision and accuracy, but also make sure that your finger is away from the cutting edge. Why do we keep the saw parallel to the vise? If we don't keep the saw parallel to the vise, we can continue past our sawing line. This is very important that you keep it parallel, as you can see in the video that on the saw line that we weren't looking at is a lot deeper than the other side. When it comes down to the marking line, you can see in the diagram that if you don't keep it parallel, your saw could continue on past the marking line. This is why it's very important to keep the saw parallel to the bench. Always look at both sides of your markings to ensure that you're working down to both lines at the same accurate point. Ensure to cut waist side of the line, as this is very important for the precision and accuracy throughout our processing. What happens if you don't cut waist side of the line? As you can see in the video, the distance from our first marking line and to the marking line in which we already have cut waist side of the line, creates a marking and a distance of 44 millimeters. This was the intended distance from the beginning and shows that when you cut waist side of the line, it keeps the accurate and precise measurement that you want. So what would happen if we actually cut the non-waist side of the line? I am now going to demonstrate when you cut on the line or on the good side of the line. As you can see, I'm using the same key principles as previously talked about in the video. Ensure that your hand, your elbow and your shoulder are all moving in one correct movement, and also using your thumb as a guide. As you can see in the video, when I cut a good side of the line, the measurement from our first marking line and to our furthest distance of our curve in which we created is 46 millimeters. This shows that the new distance now from our marking line is 46 instead of 44, with a difference of 2 millimeters, which can cause serious problems through the rest of our processing procedures. This is why it's always important to ensure that you cut waist side of the line for precision and accuracy. It is important to use the full length of the saw as it involves a lot less pressure in the cutting and is also faster. This is in relation to the saw teeth in which I discussed above. The material is being removed by a lot more teeth and prevents the saw from jamming. The sawdust is removed once the teeth come out of the piece of material, allowing the teeth to remove more material for the next saw cut. If you only use a small area of the saw, you are not removing the waste material which builds up inside the piece. This is why it's important to use the full length of the saw.